Normally dry conditions developing across the state, and take a look at that future rainfall. And for all of that, we send it over to meteorologist Matt Daniel.
The Drought Monitor just released earlier this morning, so I want to give you an update on that. Of course, it's been really dry across central Alabama. We haven't had any rain for most of the week, just a few isolated showers at times. And it's pretty common for September and October. Those are our driest months of the year. And so far, as of yesterday, we've already recorded just 2 inches, a little over 2 inches of rain in Birmingham. So how much rain have we seen so far this month? Well, like I said, on average, we should see about 4 inches in Birmingham, just half of that. Tuscaloosa normally sees about 3.5. Only recorded almost 2 3/4 of an inch of rainfall, and almost 2 inches of rain in Anniston when you normally should see a little over 3 inches of rain. So not much rain in the near future, and you can see it's been pretty dry across a good bit of the southeast. These are the estimated rainfall totals over the past 5 days. Notice from Texas all the way into the Carolinas, we've seen a high pressure and dry air in place. All the rain's been to our north, across the plains, into the Midwest, northeast, and lots of heavy rainfall in parts of Florida and along the east coast. So it's been pretty dry, and this is the latest drought monitor, and not much has really changed across the country. I will note, though, we're noticing some a little bit more drought conditions developing off the east coast from Boston into the Carolinas. Also, the drought continuing in parts of the central United States and into the western portions of the country. Zooming on in across the southeast, we'll note we're starting to see little blobs of yellow. What does that mean? Some dry, abnormally dry conditions. So we're seeing a little bit of that in Chilton County into Bibb, also southern portions of Shelby County, and also off towards the north and west. But overall, not too bad in regards to the drought concerns here across the state. So how much rain could we see over the next 7 days? I will note you'll see this little line right here. That's, of course, Hurricane Fiona just moving off the east coast. And we are going to see very little amounts of rain across a good bit of the country, maybe a little bit of rain across the southwest into the central United States and, of course, the northeast. But all eyes, of course, on the Gulf of Mexico. Whatever happens with that tropical system, depending on where it goes, we could see lots of rainfall either in Florida or maybe as far west as Texas. And of course, we'll be able to fine tune that forecast as we go into the early parts of next week. So make sure you stay weather alert and make sure you download the WBRC First Alert weather app.
Thanks for that, Matt. And yes, we certainly could use some rain. And what areas don't need any more rain? Well, Puerto Rico and the Caribbean continues struggling with recovery from Hurricane Fiona. And the storm, unfortunately, isn't over yet. And for more on that, we go to Fox weather correspondent Robert Ray.
3 days after devastating the Caribbean, Hurricane Fiona continues gaining strength. It's now churning across the Atlantic and is expected to pass by Bermuda early Friday. Forecasters warn it will bring high surf, storm surges, and heavy rainfall. But its impact won't be as bad as Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, where flooding and landslides devastated communities.
It was very strong as it passed through here. Very strong. It destroyed the majority of homes.
The back part of the house collapsed. We lost all our clothes, groceries, and everything in the wooden part of the house.
Despite recovery efforts, thousands remain without power and running water. In Puerto Rico, the National Guard began distributing water out of trucks. Power crews have been working around the clock to restore electricity. And local leaders say it's a tough task as some areas are still being assessed for damage.
In many towns on the island, particularly in southern Puerto Rico, there is serious, significant damage to the electrical grid. In those towns, it is going to take longer.
Meanwhile, island residents have begun cleaning up and lining up for basic necessities.
This isn't easy, but you have to keep fighting, right? As long as God gives us life.
On Wednesday, President Biden declared a major disaster declaration to help with the recovery efforts. In Hamilton Parish, Bermuda, Robert Ray, Fox Weather.
All right, let's get an update on Hurricane Fiona now. We're going to focus just on this hurricane and what we're seeing. Again, it getting close to the Bermuda Island. We are talking about over 250 miles away. But again, this is a very large system. It is going to create those hurricane conditions. Thankfully, though, the eye should miss where the worst weather is located, concentrated around, should miss Bermuda to the west. But 130-mile-per-hour winds, still a Category 4 on a scale of 1 to 5. And as we take a look at that future track, we kind of pause it with time. Again, it's not going to take long for it to get to the closest approach to Bermuda. That would be 1 a.m. tomorrow. It may weaken a little bit to a Category 3 storm, but certainly they're going to be feeling the effects of this as it continues to jog just to the west. And then look at this jump. I mean, it is going to be racing. This is very typical. I mean, I grew up in the Northeast. We always saw these tropical systems pick up speed. Now, the problem with that is it doesn't have, if it's moving over some cooler waters, it doesn't have as much time to, weaken. So it's not going to have a lot of time to weaken. It's going to be a Cat 2 at this point in time. By the time it gets close to the eastern part of Canada towards the Atlantic, it could have 110-mile-per-hour winds. And just because it becomes extratropical doesn't matter. It's, Hurricane Sandy became extratropical, still caused catastrophic, damage. So this is going to be a major issue for parts of Canada, and could even see some snow on the western side of it. It's going to be cold there, tapping into that with the moisture, but an unbelievable system with the hurricane. Now, we have, of course, multiple systems we are tracking out there in the tropics, very active, which is normal for this time of year. We have still Gaston, but no impacts to the United States. Of course, Fiona. We have a couple other waves we're watching, but still, you're talking about 2 weeks away. And of course, we're really going to be focusing on what has an 80% chance of tropical formation over the next 2 days is that disturbance across the Caribbean. And we're going to be talking more with Wes Wyatt coming up after this break regarding that system and much more. Stay with us.
Remodeling a shower or bath can be tricky with gas prices up and tight monthly budgets. Cost is a real concern, but West Shore Home is helping homeowners get the shower bath they need right now. I'm joined by Kirsten from West Shore Home. And Kirsten, tell us, how is West Shore making bath remodeling affordable?
So Joe, for folks who want to get their bath or shower project done right now, we have a very special offer. We know that monthly budgets are a little bit tight right now, which is why we wanted to make this offer available to everyone. If they give us a call, we have 18 months of no payments and no interest financing. That means they can get their shower or bath done now and not have to make a payment for 18 full months.
So you're saying people can get their new shower bath installed right now and not have to worry about making any payments or paying any interest until 2024. That's really helpful.
Definitely. People love this plan because it allows them to be flexible with their finances.
Can we see some projects you've done recently?
Absolutely. So here's one where the homeowner wanted to replace their old fiberglass shower with something more new and modern. So we replaced it with a beautiful marble style shower with an easy low step entry and a beautiful shower door.
That is amazing. Perfect combination of safety and beauty.
It definitely is. So let's take a look at another one. These homeowners were struggling with mold and mildew from their old tile. They were tired of scrubbing. We were able to give them this beautiful new shower that is so much easier to clean. You can get a new shower or bath just like this when you call right now, and you won't have any interest or payments until 2024.
Kirsten, thanks so much. Folks, do not put off that shower or bath project any longer. West Shore Home is making it affordable to take care of that bath project right now. West Shore Home is extending this offer for 1 week only. Free installation on all shower and bath projects. And for a limited time, they're doing 18 months of flexible financing. That's no payments and no interest until early 2024. This is an offer you don't want to miss. Call the shower and bath experts at West Shore Home now.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra as we count down to the arrival of fall just after 8 o'clock, 8:03 to be precise this evening. The autumnal equinox, that's Central Time. All right, Jill was just telling you about Fiona, all those other systems, Gaston out in the Atlantic. Well, this is Invest 98L. And if you examine the satellite imagery really close, you can see there's a little bit of a counterclockwise circulation going on here. So we're starting to see some cyclonic rotation to this, and a pretty good chance we've got a low pressure system getting better organized, and with time this could develop into a tropical depression or tropical storm. Hermine, that's the next name on the list. A lot of models agree that this could develop into a tropical storm over the weekend. Again, this weekend, no impacts. Florida, the Gulf Coast. We're watching next week. That's the time frame here. But models still bring this into the Gulf. And the thing is, you know, once you get a system like this in the Gulf, it's going to go somewhere. There's actually one model that brings the system across Cuba and takes it through the gap there just south of the Keys. Perhaps that scenario may play out. It's still a question mark, but one thing we notice is we do see a lot of data that favors the eastern portion here of the Gulf of Mexico, and we're seeing a lot of the models. Let me step aside here. You can see some of those headlines. A lot of the models are showing those scenarios across the kind of a trend back to the east direction. The European model is one of the global models that we look at, and a lot of the ensemble data from the European model really favors South Florida, kind of in this region. The GFS, the American model, it shifted more westerly today, but now it's coming in more in line there with more of an eastward direction. So I just kind of highlighted, you know, this is an area by the next Wednesday or Thursday we could have a tropical storm or a hurricane sitting out here, and that's going to be an area that we need to pay close attention to. Here's a look at even more models. You can see all the different scenarios and the different ensemble members and all the models, and they're starting to kind of, if you look closely there, you can see a little bit of a focus there again across the eastern portion of the Gulf of Mexico. And this is another look. We take the lines off and just look at where the various models are placing the low pressure system. There's Jamaica, and that is Sunday. So I've had a couple of folks that have sent me messages and saying, Wes, I have family that are on a vacation in Jamaica right now. What's going on? Where is this going? And you can see by Sunday it's going to pass, or at least the ensemble data keeps the center of this to the south, and by that point it may be a tropical storm. But that's a look at Sunday. And then as we go into next week, there's Tuesday, Cancun, Cozumel, and you can see in this region maybe a system. There's the Cayman Islands, and then the GFS here takes us right through the right there past the Yucatan. And notice the latest GFS and all these different ensemble members of that model, various runs of that model, are starting to weigh more on this portion of the Gulf of Mexico. You can see again the eastern part. Yesterday this thing was all over the place, but there's a little bit of a pattern that we're starting to see here, and we'll just confidence will continue to increase. But again, there's still a degree of uncertainty until a system actually forms, but we can start to get some ideas, and that's what we're thinking at this point. Really need to watch that eastern portion of the Gulf of Mexico. Tropical systems are out there, a lot going on, a lot to keep up with. And just a reminder, if you don't have it, you can keep up with those tropical updates at just a quick check in the palm of your hand. Easy to get to, easy to navigate. Our First Alert weather app, just open the camera on your mobile device, scan that code, and that will take you over to our weather app, and we'll send you a lot of custom updates. But through the weekend, as soon as we gather data, we'll certainly keep you well informed. All right, live look from Oak Grove, and a few moments ago it was dusty, cloudy. We had some showers moving through. Those winds have picked up. We've had a cold front that's moved through the area, and what a change here in Montevallo. We had a little bit of rain. You had a nice downpour that passed just to the west of us there. Notice the temperature showing 78 here in Shelby County, so a nice drop in temperatures. And you can see that little boundary there. It's moving south. A couple of showers still showing up on radar. We had some rain push south there. It looks like it's rain has ended now. It's moved south of Briarfield and pushing down into parts of Chilton County, so places like Maplesville getting some shower activity. Next 24 hours, the big story, the drop in temperatures. Look at that, 9 o'clock, we're seeing 70s. Look at tomorrow morning, low 50s in some areas, coming off of a day with highs in the 90s. That is a big time drop in temperatures. I mean, we're talking 40 degrees there in a lot of areas. And looks like tomorrow afternoon, we're back in the 80s, upper 70s, low 80s. Nice day, sunshine. Tomorrow night, those temperatures back in the 50s again, another cool start. The weekend's going to be beautiful. Perfect weather for Sideline, Homestead Hollow. We're going to check in with that forecast with Mickey here coming up, but a lot of events going on this weekend, and it looks like dry weather to start off. But we do have a chance for some scattered showers and storms, another front on Sunday. That chance of rain, of course, next week, if we see that tropical system move close to Alabama, it could have some impacts just beyond this 7-day forecast. But right now, it looks like below average temperatures Tuesday and into Wednesday. And want to head over to meteorologist Jill Gilardi. And Jill, you know what? We may be able to say goodbye 90s.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to put a fork in the 90s, right? It's
Yeah.
like put a fork in winter, let's put a fork in the heat. All right, let me talk a little bit more about this disturbance and what could happen. So if it develops quickly, it will get picked up by the trough, and that would be the kind of closer to what the European model is showing, and that could be a Tuesday time frame. If it is slower to develop, it would follow more of the GFS kind of track. So right now, a lot of the data is kind of hedging in between. So we really got to watch and see how quickly this thing develops, because that's really going to determine the track. So we'll be watching that beyond the 7 day potentially. Again, we're still trying to determine when this thing is going to enter the Gulf, how fast it's going to move, how strong is it going to get, and we'll have to just be patient and keep checking back with us for more updates. There is indication that looks kind of wet as we go beyond the 7 day, potentially due to that tropical system. Can't rule that out. Above average across the southeastern coastline, but then a stark difference back across the Midwest where it could be below average in precipitation. And then the flip side is above average temperature. So it looks like it's going to be very hot across the Midwest. So that's the way it's looking right now. Of course, we're going to talk with Mickey here after the break regarding the beginning of fall. And of course, we're going to hear about some event forecasts.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us. This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
These are your mornings, and Good Day Alabama is built to start them right. The only station staying local on all platforms all morning long. Prepare for a good day. Prepare with Good Day Alabama.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
That's why we're getting answers on rising prices and how you can save some money.
How events nationwide are affecting you here at home. WBRC Fox 6 is always here on your side, ready to help. This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
In a season of constant change, when you need to know first, when you need to prepare, only one team gives you the first alert. A trusted team staying ahead of what's next in your neighborhood. Stay alert. Stay with the First Alert Weather Team.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
Being another set of eyes looking out for your kids and your family.
This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
Live, new, and on your side, beginning at 9 p.m., WBRC Fox 6 News breaks down what you need to know before anyone else on your favorite platforms every night. WBRC Fox 6 News at 9 and 10, on your side.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
That's why we're getting answers on rising prices and how you can save some money.
This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
How will the weather impact your roads? The First Alert Weather app has live traffic updates and road conditions for a safer commute. This is why we First Alert.
WBRC Fox 6 News, on your side.
All right, we've been talking about the autumnal equinox. It's when the sun is directly over the equator, and daylight and darkness are about the same all over the earth. Equinox means equal night. It's the first day of fall, astronomical fall in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, first day of spring. So we've got your sunrise tomorrow morning at 6:35, sunset tomorrow at 6:43. The first full day of fall, and our weather team's been talking about it's going to feel like fall. Homestead Hollow is tomorrow. I believe it's going on all weekend long. It's in Springville, Alabama from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And look at this weather. Is that fantastic? Look at these temperatures. So it's so weird that on the last few hours of summer it's really hot, or it was today. And then tomorrow, on the first day of fall, it's going to be cool. Your fire pit forecast for tomorrow, well, at 7 p.m., about 74 degrees, and it still may be a little bit too warm for a fire pit, but maybe you can look at it from a distance. Fiesta Birmingham 2022 is at Lynn Park Saturday from 12 noon till 8 p.m. Fantastic weather, a little bit warmer on Saturday, and you can see we've got some football forecasts. Alabama has a home game against Vanderbilt. That's a night game at 6:30, kickoff, 81 degrees, cooling off into the mid-70s. And Auburn's at home. That's actually a morning game at 11 a.m. as they take on Missouri. 78 degrees at 11 a.m. at Jordan-Hare, and then warming on up
to about 87 degrees by the end of that contest. All right, if you're going to the Zach Brown Band concert, it is coming up this Sunday. You'd think it would be Friday because chicken fry and a cold beer on a Friday night. Isn't that one of their songs? I don't know. So we have a few clouds out there and then clearing up during the evening. That's at Oak Mountain Amphitheater. Be sure and get to work on time now on Monday. If you want to take a picture while you're at any of these events and share it with us, you just scroll to the bottom of your First Alert Weather app. You'll see where to submit photos, and you can get your weather on the go while you're there. Have a great time with the first day of fall.
All right, break out the long sleeves. A cooler start tomorrow morning. We'll have temperatures in the 50s, and Birmingham's probably going to drop. We'll see some upper 50s in parts of Jefferson County. We have the first alert for rain on Sunday. Could be a couple of scattered showers, as Mickey was just talking about that Zach Brown show Sunday night. Just keep an eye on the weather app. There could be a couple of isolated pop-ups. Right now, next week, Monday at least through next Thursday, temperatures more seasonal. Temperatures at night cooler, below average at night, but you can see those daytime temperatures running close to average. But we're going to be watching late next weekend, as that system invests 98L right now, today, tomorrow, into the weekend. Check in, and we should very soon hopefully have some finer details and more specifics on where that system could go next week in areas that could be impacted. So check in with us. Lots of updates on the weather app, and of course we're back tonight after baseball. Again, on a little early today. Typically you'll catch us here at 6:30 for First Alert Weather Extra. We'll be back at 6:30 tomorrow night, and of course tonight after baseball on WBRC Fox 6 News.